Hey everybody, welcome to That's Good Stuff, the show where we review pop culture's newest releases. And Thomas, take it away.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So we are reviewing 28 Years Later, directed by Danny Boyle and written by the original. Well, Danny Boyle was the original director and written by the original writer, Alex Garland. So 28 years later takes place 28 years later after the initial virus outbreak of, was it called the Rage virus? Is that what they officially called it? Um,
Mhm.
Angry boy people.
Angry Boy. We do start with a flashback to 2002, where this Scottish kid in the Scottish Highlands named Jimmy, he's sitting around watching Teletubbies, Jared's favorite show, and suddenly the rage people start coming in, and he escapes into a church where apparently his dad is I think it's the pastor. He's not a priest, uh but he's like, "Oh, God's judgment is coming, my son." And then he gives Jimmy a cross, and the the rage people break in, and it's like, "Yes, my children," and then gets infected, and then we see Jimmy just kind of uh taken off. So, and then it cuts to 28 years later, and we are woken, or sorry, we start in a house with a kid named Jamie and his son or his dad, and
His Spike.
I'm sorry, Spike. Spike is the kid, sorry. And Jamie is the father. Uh they're eating breakfast with some bacon. He's like, "Oh, we got bacon today." And apparently it's because they're going to go on to an expedition on the mainland because they're on an island that's like a mile out that has like this culvert that is protected by the tide. It's the only way to get on there. Um, Also, Spike's mom, Jamie's. Well, you did get one. That's kind
Mhm.
of cool,
I
actually.
forgot you said that till now. Now I realize
I
what the
couldn't
map
figure out what
was.
it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like, oh, duh.
Well, he's like, they gave me a map. I'm just like, is Joseph going pirate hunting? What's he doing?
Have fun
Um,
later, Sonny.
yeah, it's just a map of Albuquerque. Who knows? Um, but apparently Jamie's wife and Spike's mom is having medical issues. She's having like body aches and she's having like emotional outbursts. So, uh, Jamie and Spike are heading out toward the mainland, and they both have bow and arrows, and they're like, "Hey, this is how," or Jamie's kind of teaching him how the infected work because they go there just to like to get a kill, is I think is what they said, right? Because they're just like, "We're going to the mainland." I'm just like, "Why?" Like, but okay. Um, Kind of shows them around where they get all the fire fuel and like there's different types of infected. There's like these bloaters that crawl on the ground. He's like, "Watch out. Those are like underestimated because people like don't see them because they creep up and they almost do. They almost get Jamie, but he does sweet like bow skills and gets it. Um, and then they come across this deer that's had its head ripped off and then mounted onto uh, a tree. And he's like, "Oh, the slow ones didn't do this. The fast ones did that, and what did that was an alpha." So apparently, like, there are these alphas that are in charge of the fast ones and give orders. Then they're like, "Hey, we need to head back." It's like, "Let's go across the field," which I'm like, why would you ever go across an open field? Because that seems like the worst place. Uh, then they do run into the fast ones. He's like, "We gotta try to evade these guys." They go into a house, and he's like, "All right, just gotta stay here and wait them out because the tide came in. We can't get back till the tide's low enough to cross the culvert because if we go across or if we try to swim, the current will take us and we'll never get back." They also see like a French ship, a French border troll ship, because the entire mainland of England, as we have discovered, has been completely quarantined and no one is allowed on or off. And if you get on, you can't get off. Um, During the night, Jamie's having some really bad nightmares, some really cool nightmares, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not, I like those. They're cool. Uh, but then they're awoken up by this massive herd of deer, that run past this rickety old cabin that they're staying in the attic in, and the vibrations from the deer rattle the foundations of the house, and it basically just starts to collapse. And we gotta get out. Uh, when
I
they're
feel like they could have
outside,
done a bit more to make that believable.
yeah, because they're not even like running near. They're like in the field next to it, and they're just like, we gotta get out. And I'm just like,
Earthquake.
yeah, but you would think that basically like the tectonic plates like in England are being ripped asunder because they're just like, um. So they're like, all right, well, the tide should be down far enough so we can go across the culvert. But the alpha hears them, and he's like, hey, takes straight off toward them down this culvert. That's actually a really cool shot. Um, they get close enough to the gate and they start banging like, let us in, let us in. And then the guards finally wake up and shoot the crap out of this alpha, and this awesome exploding arrow goes straight through its like chest cavity, and it goes. Um, so that's the first third of this movie. Then we move on to the second part, and Jamie is being hailed as a hero because his dad's kind of making up tall tales about how many
Spike or Spiky.
Spark, yeah, Spike. He's making up fibs about how good Spike is with the bow, and he is good, but he did panic, and so that caused them to lose some ground and uh probably kept them from getting back on time. But Jamie's happy because he went out with his son, and his son did get a kill, so he's you know praising that, and it's a big old party. Everybody's getting drunk. Um, Spike tries some beer, does not go down well. Um, and then he goes outside to try to get some air. And then he sees his dad fooling around with somebody that is not his mom. Um, so he goes home and he's all like moody about it and hops into bed with his mom, and he passes out. And the dad comes home and he's like, hey guys, how are you? And then Spike is not too happy about his dad having whoopee with somebody that's not his mom, even though his mom is not there, not really emotionally stable or uh, mentally stable whatsoever. So Jamie goes down, just like, all right, I'm gonna cook some breakfast and you know, uh, just get the day started. And Spike goes down, he's like, are you gonna marry so and so when mom dies? He's like, shut your mouth. Uh, they have this conversation because one, they're on the mainland. I forgot to mention this part, but he brings it up. So uh, they saw this pillar of smoke and fire off in the distance to the southeast. And he's like, what is that? And Spike had a conversation with this other guy because his dad's like, oh, don't worry about it. But the guy that he did talk to says that, oh, that's a doctor from back when we had doctors. And he's like, well, and so Spike's asking his dad, like, why aren't we seeing this doctor? And he's like, well, that doctor's crazy because when the pandemic was starting, I went over there and I saw rows and rows and rows of bodies lined up to be burned. And he's like, well, I don't ever want to go back there. But Spike's like, oh, you're just a coward because, you don't want to see mom get better. And his dad's like, that's not at all what I think, but whatever. And Spike starts insulting him, and then Jamie slaps him, and he runs upstairs. And Jamie's like, "Well, I should have done that." So he goes upstairs, tries to consult Spike, and Spike pulls a knife on him. And I was just like, "Whoa, okay, that escalated quickly." But Jamie, being a man, like just slaps him and takes the knife away. He's like, "No," and gets rather angry, kind of walks out. And then Spike has the idea that he's going to take his mom to the mainland to see the doctor. The But the way that he does it was kind of odd, is that he decides to set the main food source barn on fire. That's the food source for this entire colony, but everybody's freaking out, so they abandon the post. He takes his mom across the culvert, and they're making their way downtown, um, toward the southeast where he saw the smoke come up. And then there's this brief interlude of these soldiers running through these tunnels, and they're French. It's like, damn it, the French. And they get taken out one by one. People's heads get ripped off. So apparently there's an alpha in the area. And then there's one soldier that makes it out. And then Jane or Spike and his mom are making their way across the field. Well, they get spotted by some fast infected. They run into a gas station, but apparently the fumes had built up over the decades, and so this is my asthma. And then they're all
It
choking
was
to
the
death.
it was the best insulated gas station you ever seen in your
I
That's
life.
true.
know.
Like there was no way that gas could have escaped naturally. But then this soldier pops open a hatch up above, which I didn't know gas stations had one of those. He fires like one round and that thing catches fire, but Spike and his mom hit the deck and all the infected are like burst and basically get cooked alive. And then that soldier apparently is a Swedish uh coastal guard person that was with the French. He's like, oh, and then he starts talking like modern slang to this kid that's basically from the medieval ages at this point. He's like, "What's that?" He's like, "Well, in a second, it's gonna be a brick." And he's like, "Here's my girlfriend." She's like, "What's wrong with her face?" Because it's like this. It's like, um,
Oh yeah, he's like that happened to one of our girls one time. She got stung by a bee or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they make their way, like they keep making their way toward the doctor, and some idle chit chat, some jokes are thrown around. And then they come across this train where they hear some screaming, and apparently there's a pregnant infected in there. And the mom kind of has a moment with the infected woman. They like hold hands, and she pulls the baby out, and the baby apparently is not infected, but I'm not sure how you could really tell that when the baby's screaming its head off. But
Baby came out with
um,
this. He's like, look at me.
yeah. um, and then Eric, the Swedish guy's like, we can't allow these things to like breed anymore. So he shoots the mother, and then or he shoots the pregnant or the infected mother. And then Jamie's mom is like, oh no, we can't let him kill this person. And then Eric's kind of freaking out because he doesn't know what he's seeing. And then he backs up and gets pulled up by his head by what apparently is an alpha. And then somebody hops down, and Eric's head is like attached to his spine, like Predator. And Jared, describe this alpha for us.
Little Samson?
Little,
Um,
that's a word.
looks like a caveman. He's a big, tall guy. And that's about it. He's just a zombie man. He's just
That
a
with
zombie
a third
man.
leg.
Is there any other? Is there any other feature that was very prominent with Samson? Little,
Not that
little
I can see.
Samson.
Not that I
I
can
don't
see.
notice those kind of things. So.
Well,
I
it was
wasn't
it
focused
was
on that,
poking you in the
Thomas.
eye, so maybe you're blind.
Too bad this movie wasn't in 3D, right?
Oh, I was a little worried that there were 4 kids under 8 in our movie theater watching this.
Literally.
We're like, why?
Bro in front of
They
us.
saw the
"Mommy, he got
Teletubbies, and they're
squished." I'm like,
Yeah. Well, also like Jamie's talking about like because they're talking about alphas and they're like, oh, how come one's bigger than like the others? Like, well, they act like steroids. I'm like, I don't think this person knows how steroids actually work because that would not happen if somebody
they
was
say
on steroids. Yeah.
It makes your pee smaller.
Make people
Yeah,
small.
it's the opposite of what happens.
So they are trying to run from this alpha that's trying to get apparently its baby back because that was his baby mama.
Mop everybody.
Um, and then all of a sudden, this orange person pops up. You're like, oh, Donald Trump. But no, it is not Donald Trump.
I thought it was the Buddha because he had like a yellow like shirt.
It's Ray Fiennes as the doctor, and he has this little blowgun and goes, and he's like, morphine is very effective. So he's like, oh, forgive my appearance. He's covered in iodine because apparently the virus hates iodine. And then he's like, oh, well, come this way because I'll try to get you to safety. And he brings him to his little like shrine thing, and he calls it memento mori, which is apparently is remembered death. Is that how you say it? I forgot.
I've always heard it as think on death.
I thought it was reflect on death.
Yeah.
But,
I guess it has a couple's translation.
It's Latin. Yeah, it's Latin, so I'm just like something like that. So apparently Ray finds is like, well, he's building this monument so people never forget how many lives were lost during this event. And the way he does it is he puts the heads into a boiler, and then he takes the skulls and he makes like these massive like pillars of of skulls. He's like, don't worry about don't worry about a few skulls fall off. The foundation's solid.
Well, he smokes it first with a nice like mesquite type wood
Yeah.
chip,
So
so you
to
get a
get all
nice
that,
flavor in there,
to
and
get
then he
that heat
rinses
going.
it off, and then it's good,
Yeah.
delicious.
Then he does the same thing with Eric's head. He's like, here you go. Boop.
Eric.
Puts it on the pillar.
He hands him people he knows their heads like it's nothing, and poor little guy's like,
I wish Eric's name was York. That we could have had a connection to Hamlet, but we didn't have that. So anyway, um, so Spike talks to the doctor, and he's like, it turns out the doctor's not really crazy, crazy. He's just, dealing with grief his own way. Um, and he's like, well, why are you here? He's like, oh, my mom's sick. And he's like, okay, let me examine her because I am a doctor. And he does like a brief medical examination on her. He's like, well, I don't have any kind of instruments. I have like no biopsy. I don't have a lab or anything, but from what you're telling me, symptom wise and the lumps I'm feeling, I think you have cancer. I don't know how it started, but it sounds like it spread to your brain. Um, and he conveys all this to the mother, and she's like, yeah, I know I'm probably going to die pretty soon. He's like, yeah, but we'll talk to Spike. And they kind of convince Spike to take the baby. Like, you have to live for the baby, and you know always remember memento mori, remember the death, remember your mom. And so they kind of drug Spike a little bit just to get him to calm down. And then the doctor does the same to the mother, leads her away, apparently kills her. We don't see that, but we can guess that. um, does the thing with her skull, gives it to Spike, and says, "Hey."
5 minutes later, here you go.
Yeah.
I know.
I was like, man, like that thing is clean. There's no brains inside it, no nothing. Where the eyeballs go.
Good
but-
morning.
there's a
Here's your
nice
skull.
there's a nice spot up there, Spike.
Yeah,
You wanna
he-
climb up there,
He,
buddy?
he tells Spike to put her at the very, very tippy top of the pillar, and he does. And I'm not gonna lie, the cinematography was pretty cool. It was a nice scene.
He's like, it's
Um,
Christmas, and Spike's like, what's Christmas?
Yeah. He's like, "What's Christ?" Then he's like, all right, here's the baby, you got to make your way. But then all of a sudden Samson arrives in the camp, and then they go into this culvert, like this like tiny like sewer thing. He's like, shh. Well, then Samson breaks through the freaking sewer and starts slamming the doctor. And then Spike is quick enough to get a piece of a morphine dart and hit Samson. He's just like, thank you. And he's like, all right, well, you got to go now. And so Spike takes the baby and then makes his way back to the island. He leaves a note. He's also the baby's in a shopping basket, which I think is hilarious. He leaves the basket on the front, say, hey, with a note saying, I'm going to walk for a while, and I might come back. I don't know yet. So he's like, I'm just gonna see what's out there. And then cut to the dad. The dad's pretty upset, like somebody would be. And then we cut to Spike in the Scottish Highlands, and he's just kind of doing his own thing. He sees the infected come up. Well, he draws his bow and arrow. He's very confident now. Downs like two of them, but then more come. He's like, well, crap, I got to get out of here. So starts running. And then
Poor kid was just making his fish.
he's just
eating
making a
it up,
fish.
and then the
So
zombie takes, and you're like, geez, what a jerk.
that thing
Took
did
his
like
fish.
that thing did like devour that thing. So he runs down this road, and then he comes to a wall. Well, then he's like, hello there. And then you look up, and there's this blonde dude with an upside down cross. He's like, so need some help? And he's like all in a really bright track suit. And he's like, well, we'll help you out. And then he like whistles, and then the Power Rangers jump out. And then they're not really the Power Rangers, but they basically are the Power Rangers. These people like are all blonde haired, and they're all wearing like bright tracksuits. They have like these specialty weapons. There's like one that's like garroting like off the head of an infected. They're doing like power flips, and like I was basically like expecting to see the morpher grid overload on somebody, sparks to fly out, but there was none of that. After they're all killed, the leader hops down. He's like, hi, I'm Jimmy. Jimmy from the beginning. He's like, you want to be friends? And Spike's like, yeah, I'll be friends with you. And then that's how it ends. But I also forgot to mention that throughout the movie, we did see Jimmy's name either carved into somebody or sprayed on the side of the wall. So Jimmy has been kind of apparently in the
But did you
world.
notice that his
He's a-
cross is upside down now?
Yeah.
He's gone rogue.
He's
rogue.
he's a legend. Either that or he really likes St. Peter.
I don't think the movie's that smart. So that's it. That's the end of 28 years later. So uh, I was telling Michael and Jared when we got out of this. I liked,
He looked down and went to his car, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What did he think?
yeah,
Really?
And-
What do you think of Samson?"
He was just
Yeah.
like,
No,
put his
I gotta,
collar
I gotta really reflect on this.
up.
I liked the first half of this movie a lot. I thought the first half of this movie was pretty great. The other 2/3, I'm sorry, first third. The other 2/3 of this movie were a bit of a mess. Not sure what the point of a lot of it was. Ray Fiennes was great in this. I just wish his part was more significant. But yeah, this was a bit of a mixed bag for me. Who wants to go next? I do have more to say, but I've been talking a lot. So,
Would you like to go next?
why don't you, Michael?
Oh, okay. Well,
Since you spoke first.
I feel like we're pretty much on the exact same page with this movie. Liked it up to the point where they get back, they have the party, you get the weird affair twist plot thing where he gets angry and he goes off by himself, which I kind of didn't want because I think Aaron Taylor Johnson's character was really cool, and I wanted to see him more in the main world and having them have to go like maybe I don't know. Maybe he didn't know that was a doctor out there. Maybe only the guy there knew it, and they both find out. They're like, "Oh, maybe he has a cure." And they go out there and find something like that. Hang on, I gotta let my dog.
So apparently, because I've watched an interview with Alex Garland, apparently that character is based a lot on Joel.
That's exactly my brain was going. They had this really cool story with a lot of mystery. There's a lot of mystery, and it's like, oh, we're secluded on an island. We're going Attack on Titan style stuff where they don't know what the world is, and then they go explore and learn about it. But then it's like you said, like the movie just changes at that point, and it's like, oh, let's just throw the Last of Us companion taker to a thing because there's maybe an answer there.
It's like there was two different movies, like literally two different movies.
Utterly shifts, yes.
Not just in like the storyline, but the tone. The tone of the
100%.
The tone of the first one was so concise and so tight and really, really well thought out. And then this other part, I'm just like, why are we making jokes? This is weird.
Yeah, a perfect example of that is the Alphas. The first part of it, you have that tone of they're all in the field. There's one giant dude standing. You're like, oh, those dudes are gonna be freaky, and I'm not gonna. That's gonna be tense. Cut to part two, they're goofy and weird and ripping people's heads off and dumb. Like it just felt so campy.
And they have names.
The whole first half didn't seem campy, but then he starts ripping dudes' heads through their bodies with skulls and junk.
Well,
I don't know.
Even like the mystique of having that guy that was hanging upside down with the word Jimmy like etched in his like stomach.
Yeah,
that was like what is that? What is that? That's cool. And then apparently like he's left there to be infected. I'm like, that's even cooler. Like that's a punishment or something. But we never got to figure that out because the tone shifts and then we got Power Rangers.
Next time.
But yeah, and then the whole like the mom plot line, yeah, which just out of nowhere really just shifted the whole thing. Like that was just the whole thing. The whole thing was about mystery. Like I said at the beginning, was so intense and so much of. I love that idea of like him going out, even with him going with his mom. Fine, do that, whatever. But him like being like, what's that? A phone? What's this? What's that? Learning about the world. Maybe do more with the soldiers. Soldiers were really utterly pointless. And there's so many telegraphed scenes in this movie of the second part, like him backing up to that hole in the bus where you're or train or whatever it was. You're like, are we really? Like, he kept going. I was like, are we really gonna drag this out that long when we all see the hole? And we're gonna keep going. He's gonna keep talking. Yes, we are. Okay, like that happened probably 3 or 4 times. Of like, we get what's gonna happen.
The soldiers, I never. Okay, so this is me being nitpicky, but the thing is, like, it's been 28 years, right? It's been almost 3 decades since we know that the infected are a thing. So the world has to adapt to that. Like, there has to be like some contingency plans and people who are prepared to fight the infected. With all the patrol boats and stuff on there, you think that they would be like, oh yeah, we're in a place to like we'd have equipment to fight the infected. These guys are like kitted out to go on like a SWAT raid. I'm just like, why would you do that? None of your stuff is bite proof. You're wearing like masks and like big ass goggles. You guys don't have anything that makes any sense. Also, you had like 8 guys in a line with infected running towards you. There's like, no, I think we're just gonna fire randomly and
Yeah.
not make any kind of sense and then get killed in stupid ways.
It's
I
like
was
the
just
two
like,
people with bows had way more coordination in the
yes.
woods.
Well,
Actually really like that move with them lining up. It's like, all
yes.
right, we'll do this
Uh,
back to back move. Oof. That was cool.
it's God, the British actually came up with it. It's called marching fire. There's one rank
Mm,
that always fires, and you're able to retreat or go forward. They literally invented
nice.
it.
Yeah, it's like
And
they had way more coordination than the trained soldiers. It's like,
yes, with automatic
what are you guys?
weapons.
Yeah, there's like a
Yes.
dozen of them. You're fine.
It was just so, it was like literally in my notes, Eric and the soldiers were pointless. They
Yeah.
had nothing to do with the story.
Yeah,
So
they literally do anything other than save them from the gas station?
the one gas station, but even that was just such a plot of like it
Yeah.
was such a thing of convenience too.
To make
Like
jokes.
She didn't learn anything
yes,
about them? Yeah, there's literally nothing.
well, Spike didn't learn really anything about the outside world that was like effective. Like
Yeah.
he's also they had a 5G tower in the infected area. I was just like that is not supposed to be there because it's
Yeah.
from 2002. But anyway. Hmm.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Says-
Zombies can't come up with 5G? They like
You know,
cell
they can't-
service,
Alphas are
Thomas.
better than us, man.
That's
They're
true.
alphas, man. They're alphas.
Yeah.
Bigger and better in multiple ways. But yeah, it's pretty much, yeah, I feel like we're on the same page of it. It's just as many movies recently, just the second half is just disappointing me. Like same with Sinners whenever it kind of went downhill. Although I think Sinners is definitely better than this movie in my opinion, but I don't know.
I like different parts of Sinners. It's kind of the same way with me for this one. There's like a lot of stuff I liked about this, and then a lot of stuff I just like. Why?
They're just much lower lows in this movie for me than there were Sinners. Sinners I was like, okay, I'm not a big fan of that, but I still really like this movie. This I was
especially
like, I'm really not a fan of that.
well, especially since the bar was already set pretty high, in my opinion, for like the other two
Yeah, true.
movies.
Yeah.
So
But then like even like the mom stuff, I felt it was so poorly paced going over there and then meeting him and it's like what is the message? You clearly feel like you're trying to say something here, but I'm not really getting any of it. She's just there to die and that's what we came here for. And then the
Yeah,
kid's
that's
like
weird.
there's just no real thread to pull on that led us there and had any purpose. So I don't know. Bit of a disappointment, unfortunately, for me.
I agree.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Jared, Joseph, who wants to go next?
That's looking good.
Me? Okay.
Joseph.
So I've never been more confused at a movie in my life. So we
Wow.
saw that first trailer, and I thought it was okay. This is kind of like action zombie stuff.
Also, a fantastic trailer. to
Yeah,
say.
everyone was all Joe Bazooka after that trailer. And then I go to the theater, and I get this, and I'm like, ooh, a little treasure map. It's gonna be like a fantasy. It's gonna be like a fantasy movie, and so I start watching it. The first part's kind of like, oh, this is very British, and kind of what you expect from the cinematography and stuff like that. And then you get to the next part, and it's like you said, Jamie is a cool character. He's like taking his son out with the bows and arrows. I was like, this is fantasy. I kind of digging this. A dark fantasy world with zombies is kind of cool. But then, like you said, it shifts.
Also, just as a jacket person, Jamie's jacket, that purple jacket, pretty cool. Not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
it had a cool style. And I'm digging that he's trying to give his son life lessons, even though he's too young. The mom hates that. She calls him a bad word. Uh, um, but yeah, it totally shifts at that party, and it's like, and I'm just like, this is like they're trying to give us the toxic masculinity thing, and I'm like, I don't really want that because I want the dad character in this movie, and he leaves. He doesn't even try to go save his son, which is weird because it seems out of character for that
Well,
character.
because like the rules were saying like we don't go out after anybody, period.
I don't think a
But
dad would care.
that's the thing is like Jamie's already been like set up as a person that kind of bends the rules and kind of does what he wants.
Mhm.
Because even if he left, there's no problem. He could just leave and go try to go after his son. It's not against the rules.
Yeah, he
It's
just can't
just
come back.
you
Yeah,
just can't come back. Yeah.
yeah. So
So I was expecting him just to go with like and try to find him.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't buy that at all. I mean, they kind of show you, oh, it's high tide. He can't go. I'm like, he'd wait. He'd wait for low tide and then take off. But and then yeah, I do get Last of Us season two um vibes from it when he's like, I'm gonna take my mom and go to the, and I'm like, this is a terrible idea. This lady's screaming every once in a while. That's not a good idea. I mean, these shows don't know anything about sneaking around or anything. So that it knocks down another believability. It's what this movie always does. The stupid gas station scene is terrible. I mean, just because you're shooting up and they're down, the whole thing should blow up, not just the top blow out.
Okay. Eric should have been fried when he like shot that shot,
Yeah.
because like gas goes up into like
Everything.
yeah.
So that
What
scene, I was
what
like,
did
this
what
is
did you call it,
terrible.
Michael? The most airtight gas station ever?
Uh, insulated, I think I said.
Insulated. Sorry, insulated.
So that scene, it was just terrible. And like, okay, we got Eric. He's kind of funny. He's like a new party member or something like that. But then he dies like
He's just
easily.
he's just the expendable crewman.
Yeah, he dies so fast. So we're not keeping Eric around. I did like Ray Fiennes, like you guys said. He has a little bit of
It's great.
mystery to him, and I just enjoy listening to him talk because it's fun. The mom thing, it had a lot of heart, I will say, but it was very confusing, like Michael said. It's like, why did you bring her just to die? Um, because it was super like, it's like, okay, you have cancer, you're dead now. It's like you don't get to live a couple days with your
Yeah, like
son.
I really didn't like that there wasn't a conversation with Spike. Like they just kind of
Yeah,
forcibly, it's like reason with him. He's a reasonable kid. He wouldn't want his mom like literally
yeah,
show her in physical pain, not just be like, oh, it hurts all the time, honey. Come on, doc. Like, literally show
yeah.
her in pain. Maybe like do a montage of them being there a couple days or something, and have her
Maybe,
grow in pain and end it. But
yeah,
it was
Don't
just so
maybe
worry.
just,
fast.
Don't worry, Spike.
yeah, it's like maybe trying to make a point about euthanasia, which, in that situation, you don't have any way to treat that, so maybe, you'd be more open to that, but not like right now. Right now, let's go. It's go time. And then yeah, it's weird that he gives him his head in the morning. Hey, there's your mom's head. And it's like, ooh, thank you. um,
And
What
then
do you
they
say?
trust him while he's half like tipsy to hold a newborn baby. He's like
yeah,
can't move his body. He's like, I got this, guys.
and then the baby thing. I mean, I don't know. I thought the whole point of these zombies was like you get infected by fluids, right? Because you just like blood flies around and
She was touching all that fluid.
yeah. um,
And he does like the miracle of the placenta. I'm like, okay, the placenta's around the baby and it's coming out. That
yeah.
doesn't mean that there's other fluids
Not
with it.
yeah. And so yeah, another unbelievable thing. The arrows were kind of unbelievable, just because when they shot him, it was like, I mean, how strong is that tensile on those? The bow and arrow. That old guy knows what he's doing, man. He's making fire come out of those arrows. Um, and then the whole thing with the baby, and he like leaves her, and he just leaves a note, and it's like, "Hey, this baby's from an infected, but it's okay, it's fine."
I
She's
trust
not.
you not to kill it.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like, those people would. I mean,
Yeah.
at
Okay,
All right,
so
well, there's the water.
so the way that I thought that this could have gone, which I think would be better, was that because we got like some weird cult stuff on the
yeah,
island.
hmm
I thought that's where it was gonna go. Like, oh, these people are actually like kind of evil. I'm
yeah,
like, that kind of would have been a lot cooler. But we never went that way. We never
mm,
explained why we're like this weird cult, like why we wear face masks when like everybody's sitting at a table. There's just one person standing there with a mask. Never came up again.
That's just island people, Thomas. Didn't you watch Wicker Man?
It's probably
Well,
I would have been okay with like that twist. That would have been kind of cool.
I saw a thing from the creators. They're like, this is about Brexit. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense because the island people seem
Are better
cooler
off
than the
isolated.
outside people. Because
Yeah.
you make fun of the outside people by saying they have Botox and stuff like that. It's like, this doesn't make no sense. Um,
You're saying like Britons for Britons and like people coming in is like that. Yeah, that doesn't work as an allegory.
no. And then the end, man, I was just like, I gotta get out. This is stupid, man. The tracksuit Avengers come to save the
No,
day.
no, no,
It's
not
like
Avengers, not Avengers. Power Rangers. Those were Power
they
Rangers.
almost did the whole like
Yes.
They literally had the Power Ranger flipping shots where they came in the
They did.
scene.
Like you could tell where someone
Woo!
was like flipping
Like-
on a trampoline backwards. I was like, "What is this movie?"
and then
There's even rave music that came on, and I was like,
yeah. And
Dun,
then
dun, 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 dun.
apparently if you're British, you know what that Jimmy guy is based on, which is he's a TV presenter, but they found like really bad allegations, or they found like he was like disgraced because he like really nasty stuff against kids, and I'm like, why are you basing a
Why are you
character on
portraying
that?
him?
Yeah, I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then I'm sorry, I'm going along, but uh, I've never seen the first two, so I didn't know what to expect.
What? Really?
Interesting.
Never seen. Apparently, critical triggered not high opinion on 28 weeks later. Um, and I
It's
hear that it kind of retcons that movie a little bit because
well, so that's what I because Alex Garland did say that he retconned it, but they brought in in the opening credits of this movie, they're saying that they pushed back the infection from mainland Europe, which is
yeah,
how 28 weeks later ended. So
hmm
I'm like, well, if they did that, then I, I don't get it. Is it retconned or not? Because in the second one, there's also kind of a somewhat cure through like a natural immunity,
yeah,
but it doesn't mean it's actually kind of. I actually like the second one. The immunity is only to the people who are carrying it, not to the people who haven't or that are exposed to it. Because like there's like this woman that is immune to the virus, but she still carries it. Like her fluids are still infectious, even though she's not. And so that's how the virus outbreaks again.
mm,
I'm like, that's actually kind of an interesting idea. And it's the same thing with her kids and stuff like that. But nothing on that is expanded on except for the infected got to the mainland.
yeah.
But that's it.
And then I forgot to mention that part with the mom where she kills the bloater. I was like, what? She got superpowers now? I
Oh
was like,
yeah,
Yeah,
that was weird.
what's
went
going on?
rampage on it.
And then she forgot that she did it, or
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
I was
was
like,
it was
okay.
strange.
ruined
Yeah.
that nice jean jacket.
I thought that's where the dad was going to come back.
That's what I thought
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. I thought someone was gonna say them. And then apparently they shot this back to back with the other I don't know if it's a sequel, but it's another movie called 28 years later, The Bone Temple or something like that. And it's directed by the lady who did Candyman in the Marvels. So
The recent
Oh
Candyman.
yeah.
no.
The recent Candyman. So I'm thinking like maybe that end that is all her and that's how it's gonna be. So I don't know. I don't have hope for that one, but yeah, I don't know. I that the next trailer is gonna have to be good for me to actually watch the next one, but because that tracksuit stuff did not make me too happy. Okay, Jared.
The most unbelievable part that you didn't mention was that she gave baby just stream water to drink.
Oh,
Like babies can't even drink like purified water. They freak out. So I was like, well, you're just gonna like dunk the baby in the water and like let it drink
it
that?
needs milk.
I like you guys like the beginning, and I liked how there's a weird like culty vibe to those people at first. It was like A24 or something. Um, but yeah, when the party hits and there's like that affair going on, I was like, no. I was like, no, why are you doing this?
Like Thomas said, you can believe it because of what's going on in his life. It's just we probably didn't need to see it.
Well, and
I
we
don't
never
think Jamie would
You
do
don't think
that. I
so?
don't, not if he's so like, I guess like family oriented in the beginning.
that see that's the thing is like in the first part he obviously is like super devoted to his family.
Hmm.
And then this it's like, oh no, he is cheater. He is a cheater. But we I would have liked to see like a confrontation between Jamie and the mom where she has like a clairvoyant or not clairvoyant,
Hmm.
clarity so we can talk to her about why he's doing this. I would have liked something like that, but we never got that. He's just, oh, Jamie's a cheater. It's like,
Apparently, Jamie is in the next movie too, so maybe we'll get more with him.
Um, I was sick and tired of all the scenes with crawling fat zombies, especially the one that like sneaks up on them. I was like, can you not like see it out of the
Yeah,
corner of your eye
here,
or like hear
hush,
it?
hush. Those are
Yeah.
fallen leaves on the ground.
You hear any
Um,
swishing, Dad?
and then they're really like happy or proud of themselves that they eat worms because they kept showing them eat worms and then
he tried to eat
Oh,
Spike's bootlaces first before
yeah,
eating Spike. So
Well,
and then
apparently,
it was like, ugh.
what I've heard about the series is these zombies need to eat or they go
mhm.
hungry.
They
Yeah.
do, yeah, because like that's the thing. In 28 weeks later, is that the first wave of infected died out due to starvation. But you know, who
Um,
knows?
I didn't like how they called, I like with every modern movie they have to call something alpha or something stupid. I was like, call it the zombie with the big. Give it a different name.
With the
Stop
big radio antenna.
with the
The
third leg,
5G.
the tripod zombie. Um, I just hate that everyone just
That would have
copies each
actually been
other.
funny if they called it that. That would have been funny.
it's a
Um,
tripod.
and
Where's the
those
world again?
zombies, just felt like Army of the Dead to me. I was like, did Zack Snyder come in for a little bit to help direct this? Because it just got really like modern movie-esque at that part. Um, I liked Eric, but yeah, he died really dumb. I would have been fine if he like sacrificed himself again for them and then got taken out or something like that. But
Yeah, he had no character arc whatsoever. It was just literally an insert character, and then whoop.
Yeah.
and then I don't need to see the 10th zombie baby being born. I've seen that like in so
Yeah.
many zombie movies. It's not shocking. It's just gross. I don't want to see it.
That was in
Um,
uh Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder.
mhm. Um,
Man,
Maybe
but
he
I
did
did
direct this.
I,
I did like when they reach the doctor. I like the doctor. It's just got really goofy, like when the zombie like reaches in and he's like pulling him like Looney Tunes, and he's just like, "Oh no, Jamie or Spike, I'm gonna die!" And I really
So
like the part when it was just Spike with the baby like walking back to the island. I was like, that'd be cool if they just like left it here and then like the sequels about him getting back to the
yeah.
island or something like that. That'd be
Him in
cool.
his grocery basket.
Um,
Bundle of
but
joy.
shop.
but yeah, like when he leaves the baby, he's like named it after mom. Bye. I was like, I don't think they would take that baby in, and I think
As
the dad would run immediately, even if the tide was high. He like knows his kid's still alive, so I think he,
Yeah, he'd swim and he'd be like, "Go back, Sam. Go back."
you know. And then the last scene was just like out of nowhere, and that kind of reminded me of like I don't know why it kind of reminded me of a oh crap, I forgot it. I forgot the director's name. Directed the gentleman.
um
Guy Ritchie?
Richie?
Yeah, it reminded me of Guy Ritchie for some reason because it's just like these British guys in tracksuits. It's
oh
like in the gentleman, and I was just like, this is kind of weird. Um,
not nearly as charming.
yeah, I and then I noticed like the writing on like buildings of Jimmy. I did not know that that guy was carved like the name Jimmy was carved into that dude. I had no idea what that said. I thought it was just like
Yeah, I didn't catch that either.
random letters or something.
That's why I texted like at 2 a.m. like that was Jimmy. So
Oh, you leaned over to me in the middle of the movie. You're like, "What did that?" I was like, "It either said Timmy or Jimmy. I don't know which. I don't remember the boy's name because you couldn't see the top of whatever the first letter was really."
And then like the mom thing, I didn't mind it, but it was kind of confusing because she had like this connection to zombies for some reason. Like she was like communicating with the mom, like, "Oh, I'm a mom. I know what you're going through." I was like,
The
"That's kind
mother's
of
pain.
stupid." Yeah, I was like, "That's dumb."
I gave birth to this one.
So I didn't like that, and then I didn't really mind the part where the mom like just bashes the head of that one zombie. They're fat. They're not very fast. She could do it. Um, and then like what you guys were saying about like her just going to and then dying like instantly after a conversation is kind of weird. Um,
so this is just me, but I was hoping for okay, that part where Samson like grabs the doctor and starts like throwing him against the sewer wall. I actually kind of didn't like that part because before that, like we have like all these scenes where they're out in the open around the the what do you call it? The bones and stuff. And we're like, okay, so maybe the infected is scared of this guy because that makes sense why he's able to because he was like sitting there drinking tea,
Mhm.
waiting for his fire to like melt the bones down. I was like, oh, maybe like the smell because like the dad mentioned like the massive smell of death, even like because he's like even back then like death the smell of death was everywhere, but it was nothing like this. Like it was like a wall. And so I was like, maybe the infected are scared of this guy because they're seeing all the bones and stuff like that. But no, Samson just comes charging in on all three legs and like just starts swinging him around.
when
So
you have three
Well,
legs, Thomas, you can go anywhere.
all
he's a
terrain, baby.
he's a dad, man. He went to go get his kid, like
That's what
Yes.
Jamie
Jamie should have
should have
done.
done.
Um, and yeah, like the soldier stuff was really dumb because they even had the zombies like bottlenecked and they were still like one soldier's supposed to like, "Oh, my comrade's on the floor," and then he gets taken out. I was like, "What are you doing?" Um, but yeah, it's kind of a mess. I think there was another point I wanted to make, but I can't remember. But I don't know if I want a sequel or not. I kind of did. I like the beginning, the very first part with the kids, Jimmy, and like his
The
house getting
Teletubbies.
That
taken
was
over
pretty.
by
That was
the
that was kind of
zombies.
brutal and kind of cool.
Yeah, and they're all like
But it's also
freaking out.
like you put that in as though it's going to have a big impact to the movie, has zero impact to the movie, and then ends the movie with the Power Rangers. Like,
Mhm.
why have it in this movie at all? Why not have the next movie start with Jimmy getting with his little friends and they all die in front of Teletubbies, and then we can go from there? Why make this part of the same movie when it's part of the sequel, clearly?
Yeah, I thought
Um,
Jamie was gonna be Jimmy, and then I was like, "Oh, that's not the case." And then I was
mm.
like, "Is Spike Jimmy?" And I was like, "No, that's
No, it's not
that's his
him.
son." I was
Well,
like,
that's
"Where
why
did Jimmy go?"
it was going. It was like Jimmy, then you got Jamie. Then I thought it said Timmy on the stomach, and I was like, and then there's Spike. Where are these names? Like you lost
Is
the thread of the
Well,
pattern.
so when Spike is at that wall at the very end, and that guy says, "Hey," I thought it was Cillian Murphy for a second. I was like, "Oh, that'd be kind of cool to include him at the end." Nope, wasn't. So
No, yeah, I was like, is it gonna be like him or one of the characters we've seen before? But nothing.
not a thing.
Oh, I did want to. I did um, like the night vision, the red night vision
That was cool.
shots. Those were cool and kind of creepy. But I hated all the slow mo shots with like the arrows in the forest. I was like,
He
"This is Zack Snyder."
he likes to use the iPhone. All right.
Oh, true, he does. Uh,
But yeah, just a mess.
Spike, Spike's actor did a good job
He did do a very good job.
for a kid actor, so you
And
can
I like the
say
mom
that.
actress.
Oh yeah, she's always pretty good. She was in The Bike Riders.
That's the thing is that none of these actors were bad, like at all.
No,
Like I liked all the acting in this. It's just the story was just kind of eh.
yeah, You like Aaron Taylor Johnson, but
I
doesn't
do.
stick around.
Such a handsome man.
There is that one scene with the
Look at that
zombies
backside all day. Sorry.
just playing in the stream. There's that one
Oh
zombie that's like
yeah,
splashing the
the
water,
ladies.
and I was like, oh, he's having fun.
But that's the thing too, is that Ralph Fiennes like in this movie was awesome, but
Mhm.
he just doesn't really matter all
He
that
just
much.
tells them stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of a waste of like a massive amount of talent, in my opinion.
And
But
also just a cool character.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
a guy that has that much knowledge, but
well, again, like I wanted like the zombies to be scared of something. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah. Mhm.
But
Oh, and those weird birds. I thought they were bats at first, but they're like birds that fly around for the
so
zombies.
they're saying like, oh yeah, the animals aren't infected, but in the movies, like the first two, like I swear that they carry the infection. So because like the first movie is about a monkey that is infected. That's how the outbreak starts. I'm like, well, wouldn't
monkey. Sorry.
I thought the birds were in cahoots with Samson. I thought he was like
Yeah, I thought he
using
was like
them.
controlling them.
I
and
thought he
was
was
like,
Game of
"Birds!"
Thrones, and it's just the
It's like those ravens from Dunburg or whatever they're called in.
Crabine from Dublin.
Yeah. I was like, this is fantasy. Why don't they just go full fantasy?
make up your mind.
Joseph's like, when are they finding the treasure?
What's this all for?
So the X is at the emergency evac point, so that's the treasure.
Get out.
I will say though, I did enjoy a lot of this movie. There's just a lot I did not like.
Yeah, it just tripped all over itself.
It really did, which is kind of sad because like that was a super strong start. Like I was like hooked. I was like, this is great.
Mhm.
And then literally half midpoints, like the hell happened?
People ask like, what's your favorite movie this year? I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping F1's great next week, but
F1, Superman, and Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Hoping.
Tron, maybe.
Tron, maybe.
Tron. Oh,
It's gonna have a great
That's-
soundtrack.
That's the one I want to have hope for, but I have zero hope for.
Yeah.
I'm so
It's
sad
sad.
about
the
that.
thing is though, I went into the second one with no hope and blew my mind. I was like, okay, let's have that again, please. So just go in with no
I don't
hope.
think there was hopes to have with the second one though, because we were too young to like.
I didn't know anything about it. I was like,
Appreciate
what
the
is this
first
colorful
Oh,
one.
I
movie?
love the first one.
No, that movie.
Never seen it.
I fall asleep every time,
He
even
does,
as an
he
adult.
falls
I'm like,
asleep.
but when they casted Jared Leto or they announced he was gonna be in it, I was like, oh, damn. They don't want to have a good movie, I guess.
And
I'm
it's
not
all-
gonna lie.
It's all
the
red like Virtual Boy now.
most hype I got from it though was when like the Nine Inch Nails logo came on. I was like, oh no. Okay, now I'm a little excited.
I know. I really like the trailer, and Jared's like, "This looks like Pixels," and I was like, "Dang it!"
It's like if Morbius was fused with pixels. Oh, I'm
It's
getting.
Morbin time.
Like, dang
Wish
it.
that
All
would
right.
happen.
I think that's going to do it for this episode. Like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff. And we will catch you next time. Bye.